Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Popcorn and Coffee, a movie podcast. I'm your host, Jesse, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Jehazel. How are you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
We're here back with another episode, but before we jump into any movies, anything, let's do a little coffee talk.
All right.
Let's do a little coffee talk.
Yes, today we are drinking a Guatemalan Antiquo. Nope. I cannot pronounce this.
You got it at an antique shop.
Antigua.
Oh.
Guatemala Antigua.
Oh.
It's a medium roast. I guess Guatemalan beans, this specific bean, they're grown at like altitudes of like 1,200 to 1,700 meters. That's like above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like the different levels or the different heights and stuff, the higher altitudes and stuff that they're growing at gives them like different flavor, like brings out different flavors and stuff in the beans. And these are actually pretty low. Like these are one of the lower altitudes for beans and stuff.
That's low.
That's low.
Okay.
Like they're even higher, like 5,000 meters and stuff.
Okay.
But the harvest period for these beans are from December to April, and the milling process is washed and sun-dried, so there's no wet hauling these.
No wet hauling.
No wet hauling these babies.
Well, how do they get rid of the, what was it? I forget. The mucilage. How do they get rid of the mucilage if there's no wet hauling?
They don't have mucilage because they don't wet haul them. The mucilage is because of the wet hauling.
So it's a byproduct.
Yes.
Ugh, I still think that word sounds gross.
Yes.
Okay.
These beans have an aroma of floral and citrus.
Floral
and citrus aroma. And you can't smell, so you won't know.
I can't.
And the flavor is got a chocolate, sweet, and a slight nuttiness to it.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you right now, and I feel like I've been pretty honest up until this one. There is no chocolate taste in this. I can taste a little nutty. Maybe I can taste a little walnuttiness, but I don't taste any chocolate.
It's probably very slight. I bet you it comes out when you put sugar in it.
Sugar makes everything better. Okay, so I've tried this now, and no creamer, no sugar, nothing. Tried this. I'm really tasting something nutty. Now that you said it, it's like, don't think about elephants. What are you going to think about?
Elephants.
So I'm tasting nuts, and this is delicious. This one is very good.
Yes, it is.
I like this a lot. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to even add any sugar to this. I'm going to drink it the way it is.
I did it. I found the first coffee bean.
Oh, that's good. Guatemalan, you said?
Guatemalan.
I'm going to make a note of that.
Guatemala Antigua.
So for the next time that I never drink coffee, I'm gonna make this one.
Okay.
I don't drink coffee. Okay, I like that a lot. And since the word popcorn is in our name, I'll bring up that we went to the festival this weekend and we got a nice sweet kettle corn.
Oh, you went to the Popcorn Fest?
No, not the Popcorn Fest. The Blueberry Fest had kettle corn. You know, the big one.
Popcorn Fest was going on.
The good stuff.
This weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
well,
that would have been nice to go up there.
You cut my legs from under me. But I got some nice sweet popcorn, so that was good.
That's good. Did you watch Eat That while you were watching any movies? What movies?
What was I watching? Well, during the movie that we watched. Yeah. During the movie that we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Which we shall not mention, like Voldemort. But then I watched the first Blade the other night, and I had some during that as well. What about you? You been watching anything interesting?
We've
fun.
We watched Greenland.
Oh, that's right.
With Gerard Butler.
That had Sam Neill? No. The other guy. Not Sam Neill. Sam Elliott.
No, Sam Elliott wasn't in that either.
What? Scott Glenn.
Yes.
Scott Glenn was her dad.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. He plays the same thing in all of his movies. But it's just him. It's like Clint Eastwood. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. It's like he's not even acting. It's just him.
Yeah.
So you watched that. We watched... what else did I watch? I watched like 3 new movies this week that I had not seen.
Yeah, you told me.
Greenland? Yeah, I told you the other night.
Yeah. Spotlight.
With Mark Ruffalo.
Which is an all-star cast.
Yeah.
Anybody who's anybody is in that movie.
Yeah. It reminded me the filming style a little bit. Maybe not as Maybe not completely, but it kind of reminded me while I was watching it. I was like, this kind of reminds me of Zodiac a little bit.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't know. Maybe it was just because it had an all-star cast in it, but just the filming style and stuff seemed very similar. Great movie.
Tonally different.
Yeah. And then we watched Reminiscence, the new Hugh Jackman film. Which was good. I enjoyed it. I think you mentioned that on our last episode that you're like, it's okay.
I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, but if you're just looking for an interesting world and an interesting story, I think it did what it was supposed to do. I think that's the kind of movie that's made for like a direct to HBO type of movie.
Yeah.
I would have been disappointed if I went to the theaters to see that movie.
Yes, yeah.
But watching it at home, I'm like, that was really pleasant. That was really enjoyable. You know, I could pause it and I can go to the bathroom, or I can go get something to eat and come back and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not missing anything. So certain movies fit these platforms really well, and not having to go to the movies and sit through it.
And I think that's going to help a lot of those movies that maybe we're not going to do well in theaters, or we're going to get bad reviews.
Yeah.
Having them released to like directly to Disney or HBO or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to get better reviews because there are better responses. Because people aren't going to be like, I wasted $15 on that.
Yeah, I agree. Which is good, but at the same time, obviously, it's bad because people aren't going to the movies as much as they used to, and it's a format that I don't think will ever die. It's too much of a staple, but at the same time, it definitely took a hit these last 2 years, and it's never going to be the same.
No, and I think we could see movie theaters becoming more like drive-ins, or drive-ins have become.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be that bad.
You're going to have less of them.
Shang-Chi still, is breaking records.
Yeah.
Highest grossing Labor Day weekend movie ever. Not even mid-pandemic.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember what it beat. I can't remember.
Yeah, but what movies have been released on Labor? Like what? Labor Day is not typically a big movie release weekend.
No, but it typically counts movies that were released around it, and then whatever's the highest grossing. So if it came out 2 weeks before and it was still playing on Labor Day. So yeah, that you're right that it's not typically an open. Halloween, the last Halloween movie, was one that opened on the weekend, and it made for the 4-day weekend 37. Shang-Chi made 90. It completely destroyed it. Just destroyed it. And it's doing great, which is good. Yeah. I'm glad to see that people are going back to the movies and they're feeling comfortable enough to get back in those seats. Mm-hmm. Even when Dad and I went, there was only 9 other people in there.
Really?
So it wasn't packed by any means. But we went on Monday in the middle of the day, so.
Yeah. That's the best time to go.
It's weird coming out of a movie theater and it being bright outside, though.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There are certain movies where I think it's fun to go to a movie theater and have that experience with everybody where it's packed.
Oh, I agree.
And then there are movies where I'm like, I'd rather just be here by myself watching this and get the experience of the big screen.
Believe me, when private watch parties were a thing, I was like, I will spend 3 times as much money if I can have this entire room to myself or just with my friends.
Yeah. They still do those.
It's a little bit, but they're a lot more expensive now than they were a year ago.
But even though they're more expensive, because you can get, it's for usually about 20 people.
Yeah.
Even if it's $200 to rent it out, and
no
20
doubt.
people and everyone pitches in.
I guess I'm just only looking at it from the perspective of the one that I paid, and everybody else just came.
Yeah.
But I did it twice because me and Vera went to one as well.
Oh, okay.
But I literally rented out the theater just for Vera and I to go watch a movie.
That's cool.
It was fun. Knowing that no one else was allowed. Not even that other people could have come in, but it's just no, this is mine. I paid for this.
It makes you feel like you're a rich
I'm a
billionaire.
somebody now. Yeah.
You'd be like Bruce Wayne. Be like, yeah, I'm going to rent out the whole theater room. So
yeah.
Can we put these tables together? I don't know if they'll let us do that.
They should.
I own the restaurant.
I own the place. Anything else to comment on? Movie theaters. New releases.
I've been watching that Turner and Hooch series on Disney Plus.
Why do you keep watching it?
I don't know. It's garbage. It's utter trash. But I keep watching it, and for some reason, the last couple episodes have entertained me enough to keep watching.
Apparently, you're obviously being entertained because
I ain't a quitter. Once you start something, you should finish it.
I disagree with that. I think if you watch a show and you're like, nope, this isn't good, I think you have every right to say, nah, I'm not going to watch it anymore.
You have every right, yeah. But I try to persevere and push through. Plus, it's something I can turn on with the kids in the room. So
it's decent in that regard?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I can I want to sit down and watch something that's kind of entertaining for me, but I can also have on with the kids. And that's one I'll just turn on. So it's not like every Wednesday when it comes out, I'm like, we're going to sit down and watch Turner and Hooch. Yeah. It's just like, oh, okay, let's turn this on tonight.
Yeah.
So it's okay for that.
We watched that a week away, which was utterly entertaining. Was there anything grand to take away from it afterward? No. But was it so much fun and just put a smile on your face to watch? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was so cool to see, like, I didn't have to keep the remote in my hand type of thing.
Yeah.
All the kids were in there. The baby was just dancing because it was a musical, and there was a decent story. It was simple. It was a simple story, but it was just good, good all the way around. And they were at the beach, and these young teenage girls are dressed modestly. I'm like, I literally have nothing I have to worry about in this movie, and it's just fun,
That's cool.
I love that. Even with the High School Musical movies, you have to watch some of that, especially the second one. If you're letting my younger kids watch it, I'm just like, they don't need this, But with this, there was none of that. And some of those kids were phenomenal singers, just phenomenal.
That's cool.
So I highly recommend that. Just if you want to, hour and a half. It's short. It's not long. And if you still have your Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
If you're borrowing someone else's.
I've never had my own Netflix account.
I haven't in a long time.
Is David Kushner in that?
I don't know who that is.
He played... I'm trying to think of something he'd be in. He played Champ on Anchorman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny because he, in the scenes that he's in, there's a few scenes he's, recreating characters from movies.
Okay.
So in the one scene, he's assigning them their teams, and he's dressed up like Mel Gibson from Braveheart, and he's just screaming and yelling, and he's got face paint on. In another scene, they're about to I'm telling you this, but I'm not spoiling anything for the movie. They're about to play paintball, and he literally comes out of a trailer, and he's wearing a full Apocalypse Now air cab uniform with a Stetson and everything, and they got the scarves on. It was so funny. Him and I can't remember the woman's name. She was in a bunch too, though. Just look it up, and you'll see who's in it. And it's a fun movie. I would recommend it.
I'll probably watch it this week.
Do it. Tell me when you do.
All right.
What do you think we should get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Have we small talked?
I think we've gabbed enough. People want to know what we're talking.
Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheep, cheep, cheep. Sorry. Do you know that reference?
Nope.
Oh, with your upbringing, you don't remember that reference. Matthew Broderick. Musical.
Oh, The Music Man?
Yeah. So, okay. So for today's movie that we're reviewing and discussing, we chose 1993's Rudy.
Yes.
Which is PG and has about a 2-hour runtime, 1 hour, 50-minute runtime. And it tells the story of Rudy has always been told that he was too small to play college football, but he is determined to overcome the odds and fulfill his dreams to play for Notre Dame. Came out in 93. Little baby Sean Astin in this one. Anything else to say about the setup there?
Yeah. No. No. We got, directed by David Anspaugh. He also did Hoosiers.
I've seen a few of his movies. I don't know if you ever watched Mr. Church. Came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago with Eddie Murphy in it.
Yeah, no, I never watched that one.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Was it?
Yeah, so he's got good vision. I like this guy as a director.
The guy that wrote it, I didn't write his name down, but he also wrote on Hoosiers as well. So they've kind of worked together on a few things.
There's a lot of undertones of Hoosiers in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, starring Sean Ashton, John Favreau, and Ned Beatty. It also has Vince Vaughn's acting debut. This is his first film he was in.
He was so young that when the credits rolled, it said Vincent Vaughn.
Yeah.
That's how you know. Not to mention, did you say Jon Favreau's in this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He was one of the main characters. So this is Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn's first film they ever were in together as well.
Yeah. And then you get Lily Taylor's in there from The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
The first Conjuring movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a good cast.
Yeah, no doubt.
Characters and stuff.
What are your overall thoughts of this movie? I know this one holds a little bit deeper of a place in your heart than it does in mine.
Yeah, no, this film, so I can't remember the first time I saw it because I think I was so young. I remember it just being on in the background or something. But it like real, it literally has strings to my heart. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is. Like I get emotional every time I watch it.
What part?
Just the whole thing. I can't, like what not part, like from like from the get-go, like right when they're in the playing football and stuff in the snow, and they're like just treating him like trash, like, oh, you're too small, you can't. Obviously he's a little kid at that point, so obviously he's smaller than them.
He was like half their ages, and just completely treating him like trash. I'm like, guys, calm down a little bit, give the kid a break.
But like when they go back to his house and he's in his room with his buddy Pete, and he's given that Newt Rockney speech, like he's memorized that speech, and he's just giving it to him, and Pete's staring at him. It's just really, really awesome. I don't know. It just I don't know. It just pulls at me every time. Like I feel like I get chills every time I watch it.
I've got a question. Why was his nickname Rudy off of his last name? Did they call all the children Rudy?
No, I think it was just him, but his name was Daniel, and that was his dad's name was Daniel.
Yeah.
So I think that
they called him Rudy to differentiate from his father.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So
I'm gonna be honest. Up until rewatch, I thought Rudy was his name, like his first name. I watched this a long time ago, way younger, back when I didn't really care about movies, and stayed off my radar ever since. Not for good or ill, it just is what it is. And then revisiting it now, I definitely had thoughts and opinions. I think it's a good movie. I do. In the line of a Hoosiers, or in the line of a Field of Dreams, even. You know, those type of movies where it fantasizes sports, you know, to a different degree than just like reality nitty gritty sports movie. You know, it elevates it to like mythical almost. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I would probably for me put this one, especially if you do any digging, about reality versus what the movie portrays.
Yeah, there was a lot.
It fantasizes the story, hugely. It doesn't take away from the movie. The movie's good.
They do a lot of. There's a lot of different things they change up in the film that were not that never happen in reality.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, this is later in the movie, but like with Dan Devine, the coach that came in after Ara Parseghian left from Green Bay and stuff, there was like an interview with Dan Devine, and he said that he was one of Rudy's biggest supporters. Like he loved him. Like. He wanted him to play. Like he didn't. Yeah. He wanted him to play and stuff. So he put him in on his own. Like at the end when they're chanting Rudy, Rudy to put him in. Like
I even read that like nobody was doing that. Nobody was chanting Rudy.
No.
Until after he made the play.
Yeah.
And then even then it was only a certain section of the audience that was like, who knew Rudy.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Vera while we were watching the movie, I'm like, why is everyone chanting Rudy when no one in the stands knows who Rudy is?
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense for the players to do it. It even makes sense for his parents to do it. But I'm like, everyone's just going along with this and they have no idea who Rudy is. Yeah. It's whatever, but it's funny to me. Like, if you think about it all, you're like, eh.
Yeah. But Dan Devine said that he would he gave permission basically to the company that made the film or the director and stuff to make himself out to be a villain in the movie, so that way they could get it greenlit and stuff.
And also, a lot of life, real life, everyday life, is boring.
Yeah.
It's just boring. The way that story actually played out in reality is not very dramatic.
Right.
It just happened.
Yeah.
So they had to take liberties to change things to make that happen. Like, they doesn't even mention in the movie that he was in the Navy.
Right.
He was in the Navy, which to me is like, that's huge. Why did we not know that Rudy was in the Navy? But when you caveat that with the fact that he would then have GI Bills that covered his college tuition. He didn't have to work to make money to go to school. His schooling was covered.
Right.
At both the Catholic school, the Catholic
Holy Cross
that he went to first, as well as Notre Dame. So, I mean, but that's boring.
Yeah. They did give a nod, though, that he was in the Navy because they didn't say that, but the bag he was carrying around. Yeah.
The whole time I looked at the bag and I said, that's a duffel bag. That is a military duffel bag.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh, he got it from his dad or something. Excuse me. Or from his dad or something. I wish they'd have told us he was in the Navy. Yeah. But it kind of paints him out to be younger in this movie than he would have been in real life as well.
Well, because that takes place when he first goes to Notre Dame. That all takes place 4 years after he graduated high school, which he actually went into the Navy.
Yeah.
Not
to
work at the mill.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a cool nod that they had the duffel bag and stuff. Nobody's probably going to get that.
No.
I didn't get it until I read stuff like I knew years ago. From reading it, but it's still a cool like thing just to have in there, I think.
The only other thing that kept catching my eye in the movie, and it bothered me some, was like everything he wanted to do, he did, or it was just given to him. You know what I mean? Like every time he's like, I'm going to play at Notre Dame, but I need a job. You're going to give me a job because I love Notre Dame, and I'm going to give you a speech. And then that janitor, the groundskeeper guy was just like, show up tomorrow, kid, you got a job. And then he's seen him climbing in the window, and instead of being like, what the heck are you doing sneaking into this building? He's like, there's just a key. Now you have a place to live. And it's just like, okay, well, you almost made it too easy for this kid. Yeah. Literally everything was just given to him. And I read that he boxed in college as well. So he wasn't just playing on the football team, that he was a boxer as well.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Huh. It's crazy to think that in real life, though, that he had 14 brothers and sisters. But also here, that is also then caveated with something the movie got wrong, and just that he was the oldest. There wasn't older siblings than him.
In the movie there was.
Not in reality. That's what I mean.
Oh, he's the oldest.
He's the oldest.
All his siblings. Oh, okay.
The character in the movie, Frank, his older brother, is not a real person.
Yeah, Frank wasn't.
Yeah.
There was another older brother that he wouldn't have been older than him either.
Yeah.
He had two older
Anybody
brothers.
older than him is not true.
Yeah, they said Frank was basically created to embody everybody.
To just be that mean kid.
Yeah.
That mean one on the football field that wouldn't let him play, that one in life that told him he'd never get anywhere. It's just like...
And that's probably why they made him the younger sibling, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give it that more dramatic, to be like, okay, I have more to overcome than just...
And he looked like none of his brothers or sisters.
No.
None of them.
No.
But that's beside the point. There's not much football in this movie.
No.
In all reality. There isn't.
Well,
it's probably the 2/3 mark.
Yeah.
Where he finally gets to Notre Dame and then plays. I get it. It's not about the football as much as him just trying to get to the team over being on the team. But I was just like, that's interesting. It's beautiful to look at. Like
it's shot very well.
It's got almost a nostalgic, like mid-'80s feel to it, but you can tell the camera work's a lot like progressed past that, which I appreciate. It carries that nostalgia feel with it well. The only thing I would say that I disliked, and I understand why they did it, it just bothered me, was the score. There was a lot of scenes where I feel like the emotional stuff, the emotional drama that could have been aided was kind of taken a back seat when they played extremely like Notre Dame Irish heavy score pieces. And I could show you scenes and point out to you what I'm talking about. For most people, it was nothing. But I'm just like, that's an interesting choice in this scene that that would be playing in the background and playing heavily, not subtly. You know, like it's in the foreground, not in the background. But
see, I disagree. I thought the score was the best part of it's one of the best parts.
Yeah,
of the film.
I would disagree with you because I think it took me out of the movie. It didn't draw me.
I felt like the score for this film helped drive the emotional side of it even more. It helped project the scenes that were meant to be emotionally driven, and it pulled that out even more.
That's funny because it goes to show different perspectives. But some of those scenes, it almost like cartoonized them to me. Like it made them silly when I think it should have been serious. But again, differing opinions on some of those sounds, I guess.
Yeah. I think the first time he stepped on campus, it actually wasn't even shot at Notre Dame, or maybe it was the first time he stepped on the field. They shot it. It was actually out in USC, at USC, California.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is funny because Notre Dame and USC are just notorious rivals.
Yeah.
But
what did you think of the whole elements of like him leaving his girlfriend, fiance, and then coming home to find his brother with her?
I know. It's so weird. It's like, why?
Especially if that brother didn't exist either, or that role wasn't in that. Like, if that was real, I'd be really interested to see, like, tell me the story behind how that happened.
Yeah.
And Vera was like, well, growing up, she was always in their house. She was always with them. I'm like, so as soon as, I'm like, that's just too weird, though.
I think it was just there to add more drama to because there's obviously in the film, there's a lot of family stress and stuff. Like his family is down on him a lot.
But at no time was the movie ever about his romantic relationships, you know? Because from the beginning, he's like, no, I'm going to Notre Dame. Even when she's like, let's buy this house. And he's like, oh, this house is a sign of just holding me back and I'm never going to get to fulfill my dreams and do what I love. And I'm just like, oh dang. Like, And then from then on, even when he's in college and he's helping Jon Favreau's character find girlfriends or find dates and things, he's never interested for himself.
No.
So he doesn't even care what he says to him because he's like, no, like this isn't about me. It's about him over there. So just to then bring that full circle and we visit home, it's just like, maybe it was just in the writing room, an easy way to get to end that scene, as opposed to him having to stay there and pull it up with, what just happened? His girlfriend come in with his brother and boom, scene over. I don't know. It was just weird for me.
Him and Jon Favreau play off each other very well in this movie.
I love Jon Favreau in this era of his movie career and stuff because this is real early on. And he's great in everything. He really is. But seeing like him or Vince Vaughn at this era, it's just like, that's a different person.
Yeah. I love it. He's trying to find him a girl. He can't get one himself, so he asks Rudy to do it.
I know.
And then he's finally given up, and the one comes over and talks to him, and they think it's her, and she's looking for a date for
her friend.
Yeah.
And they end up getting married.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn's character is just kind of he's in a couple scenes, really. He doesn't play a big role at all. He's just one of them that turns to respect him and whatever. But I think Sean Astin, obviously he carried this movie on his back and he did a great job doing it, you know. But truly, it was all in his face, in his eyes, you know. You had to believe him or you didn't believe anything. And he sold it. He sold it well.
I love the scenes between Sean Astin and the Astin.
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 Astin. Sean Astin.
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 Astin. Astin. Sean.
Astin.
Astin.
Astin. Sean.
Austin. It's not Ash.
There's no Ash in there. I mean, I know there's not, but I always pronounce it, I think, Sean Ashton. Anyways, the scenes between him and the priest are really good as well.
Especially the first one.
Yeah.
Their first interaction when he's like, anybody who wants to join the cloth, he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, and then the scene where he is in the church and the priest goes and sits down with him. He's like, I know see exactly you're taking your appeal to a higher court.
And I like this in all my years of my religious studies, I've only learned true certainties. Yeah. Fact number 1, there's a God. Fact number 2, I'm not him.
It's so good.
There's so honesty in there.
Yeah. That guy's a good actor too. He's been around.
He's been around for a while. Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up.
I feel like he's played a priest multiple times too.
Yeah.
Like in,
I was listening to this is completely I think he has played priest before, but completely off topic. The scene where all the players are laying the jerseys on the coach's
never
desk.
happened.
And I was watching interviews with all of those guys, and not only were they like, that didn't happen, they're like, that would never happen.
Yeah.
Like there's no. Then there's a couple of those guys who are like, yeah, I love Rudy to death, but he's like, I bled for that jersey.
Yeah.
Like, that's my jersey. I would never do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Dan Devine even said if that would have happened, they would have been kicked off the team. Like, he's like, yeah, no, that
Just mutiny.
yeah.
And I guess for the movie, it works. I think you could have still wrote that differently and conveyed the same message. I mean, because in the actual story, it's one player who knew he wasn't going to play anyway. I can't remember his name. I had it and I've lost it. But the one player went to Devine, and he said, let Rudy dress in my place.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 100% on board with him. He's just like, yeah, okay, if that's what you want to do, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, he was just as much a fan of Rudy as everybody else was.
Yeah.
But that's far less dramatic or interesting than the whole team being like, we love this kid.
It was the scene when, so going back to Ara Parseghian, when he was there, and Rudy went into his office and told him, hey, I'd really like to dress one game next year. He's watching a video of a game. The video of the game he's watching is the game that Rudy played in.
Was it that play that he was watching?
I don't know if it was that play, but it was from that game.
That would be cool if it was.
It was the footage from that game, though.
That's cool.
I don't know. I just love this movie. Like I do.
I mean, it's a good movie.
I watch it every year. Literally the night before every Notre Dame game, I watch it. And I've done it since
that's crazy.
2012 was when I actually first started watching Notre Dame football.
Because I don't think it's that good. I may never watch it again. But would I recommend it to other people? Yeah, I will, because it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, to me, if I want to watch a football movie, I'm going to turn on Remember the Titans before I watch this.
Oh, remember, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm going to watch sports movies in general. There's a few that I would pick. But again, this is a different kind of sports movie, which is good, and it has its place, and it's in a specific element. I think I named a few movies up top that it reminded me of almost immediately, and it had nothing to do with the sport as it did the feel, of what the movie was.
Yeah. But again, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. Like, I love Notre Dame football, so this holds like an extra special place in my heart for my reasons for enjoying it and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. But I do love watching Sean Astin. The whole time though, I was like, oh, Bob. Because I've loved him ever since. And you could go from this to everything he did on Lord of the Rings and the standout performances that he gave there to all the little stuff that he's played in between. He's done a bunch of other kind of mid-tier sports movies.
Woodlawn. He was in Woodlawn.
Woodlawn was a good one. He did a couple baseball movies. And then he went and did Stranger Things. And he's just an everyman's man, truly. Like, he just seems like somebody. He
really
just seems like somebody
earth.
who lives. He's your next door neighbor. He seems like that guy.
Mm-hmm. He was on. So when he was filming this movie, he had just gotten married. Like, him and his wife just got married. Like, right while he was on set of this film, I think they had gotten married, something like that. So, not that matters. So.
I was wondering. If that was leading into something else.
Yeah,
or
no.
Who's his wife? I don't even know.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't think it's anybody.
She's a nobody.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
You know who his mom is, though?
Your wife is a lovely lady, and we respect her just as much as we respect you, if you ever listen to this.
If you do and want to come on the show, we'd love it.
Oh, my goodness.
It'd be awesome.
So much to talk about.
Somebody can get Sean Ashton on the show, please.
Aston. He's not going to come if you keep saying his name wrong. That's for sure not going to happen.
He might come to correct me.
No, because he's going to let it ride. He's too nice.
That's true. Dang it.
He's Samwise.
You know who his mom is?
No.
Patty Duke.
I don't know who that is.
She was an actress, singer.
Oh.
I think she was a singer. Yeah, Patty Duke.
Duke. Okay. That's funny.
I don't know who that is.
I thought you were going to say somebody that The way you were looking at me, I was like, oh, he thinks I know who this is.
Yeah. I thought you'd heard the name before. Many of the priests and miscellaneous Notre Dame employees in the movie are actual Notre Dame employees.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. Just kind of keeping it in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I like when movies do that.
Mm-hmm. The scene in the last game, or the game Rudy played in, when his dad walks in. I don't know why I crack up every time he walks in and he's like, this is the most beautiful sight these eyes I've ever seen.
I've never had that admiration for sports like that, ever.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to Colts games and I love the Indianapolis Colts, but I never walked into that stadium and been like, this is heaven kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. But at the same time, if I sit in a movie theater seat, sometimes I'm like this is home. Like this is, so I do get it. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't get it.
I think there's a difference too, because when you think about the Colts, and I'm not just talking about the Colts, just in general, sports teams that have not been around as long, or stadiums that have not been around as long, it's different. You think Notre Dame Stadium's been around since like the 1920s. And so there's a lot of history there. I think of like older stadiums. There might
Same thing with like the Eagles in Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chicago.
Yeah. Just those older stadiums and stuff. You walk into them and you can just like kind of feel the history and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been up to Notre Dame a few times and watched games up there, and it is really cool. And I mean, it helps being a fan of the team too.
Well, no doubt. So I'm not going to walk into some random place and be like, oh yeah, I love this place.
But anyways, in that same scene, when they go to their seats, the guy sitting behind Ned Beatty is the actual Daniel Rudiger.
Oh,
like it's actually Rudy.
Him and Sean Astin actually look a lot alike.
Creepily,
especially if you look at pictures of him and he was younger.
Yeah. There was an interview for the 25th anniversary I saw, and they had Rudy on the actual Rudy on there, and he's like, and Sean Astin was on there too, and they were showing pictures from when they had the filming of the movie, and Sean Astin was younger, he was thinner, and now he's gained some weight, and Rudy goes, yeah, me and Sean are actually like the same size. We actually look alike now.
And just to comment on it while you were talking about it, Ned Beatty does a really good job in this movie. I liked him in this role. It's kind of a role that he doesn't take on very much. Because in most of his movies, he kind of plays this like hardened, kind of mobster-esque, probably killed some people kind of character. And this was really nice to see him play a role that was just like, oh, he's just a family man. He goes to work, he comes home, Yeah. And that scene with him and Sean at the bus stop.
Oh my gosh.
At the bus stop, I'm just like, why are you saying this to him? Like, you're not intentionally like disrespecting him to the point where you're just like, you're not ever going to be anything, so why even try, and just come back to work. And in a way, I think it kind of reveals his character. He's settled in a lot of ways, you know, and he had dreams that he put to the side so he could have a family and so that he could just do what he had to do.
Yeah.
But it's just like, boy.
Yeah, you're telling this to your son.
You could be saying something completely different, And
it's a different era too.
And it's just kill your dreams. Like, it's just don't do it because it's going to lead to nothing but misery. And that's not true for everyone.
Right, yeah. Well, what he said was, it causes nothing but heartache for everyone around you. So basically he was thinking about himself, and other,
Yeah.
So, but I mean too, you got to think the era you're looking at, the late 1960s, completely different. Like, dads did not, there was no like, hey son, go out and do what makes you happy. It was like, hey,
you still haven't watched October Sky?
No,
like that's that movie to a T.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the subplot with Chris Cooper and Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie. I still can't believe you've never seen that movie.
I'll watch it this week. How's that sound?
Because that's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but then it's so like the scenes, like, so when he gets into Notre Dame and he takes the letter to his dad at the mill, and he's like excited.
I know.
And he's like, oh, you want a job? I'll, while you're waiting. He's like, no, I got to get back for football tryouts. And then Ned Beatty's face just drops, like complete disappointment again. It's like, dude.
It's like victory, defeat, victory, defeat. It's just like, okay, well, what do you want him? You want him to settle. All you want him to do is settle.
Yeah.
And he was happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was happy he made it into college, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what was crazy the whole time, too. And I feel like the real guy didn't do that as much. Like, all he wanted to do was play football
Yeah.
in the movie. He was getting an incredible education.
Yeah.
And all he wanted to do was play football. It's just like, okay, you're kind of like, you're short-sighting yourself here a little bit. And I loved the groundskeeper.
Yeah.
What was his name? Start with an F.
Yeah. Fortune.
Fortune, yeah.
Yeah.
He just tried to keep reminding him. Also being a character who kind of stopped going after his dreams and just settled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the opposite end of that spectrum. But he's just like, literally, man, like, everything is working out exactly how you want it to work out, and you're still complaining.
Yeah, when
he literally
he quit,
gave you a place to sleep and a job. And like, I've given you everything, and you're still complaining.
that scene after Rudy quit because he didn't get on the roster, and he's standing there in the stadium, and Fortune comes in there, and he's like, "You're so full of crap." Like, just
yeah. And they're pretty much like, "You're gonna regret this forever. Stop this." But then he shows up to practice late, and nobody even cares.
I know, that's what.
That's what I was thinking about.
Like,
No, they're going to be yelling at him. They're not going to clap for him. They're going to be yelling at him.
Yeah. Well, especially Divine. So they made Divine out to be a villain.
Yeah.
And not really like him. Not that
Not
he didn't like
likable.
him, but
Yeah.
he just didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't care about his dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if Divine was that hard of a coach, I don't think he would have been like, "Oh, this guy's like showing up for practice. Yeah, no, you can't practice today, bud. Sorry."
Yeah. Go back to no. You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my thoughts in that scene. And again, it had to happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
For the fantasy, the word fantasy just keeps coming back to me because it supersedes reality to a point where it's just happy and it's just fun, and you know that he's gonna win in the end. He's gonna get to do what he wants to do, his dream.
Yeah. It's a true underdog movie. It's just an underdog movie, and you like any of the underdog movies.
Yeah,
not underdog, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're all like that. It's like, you know, they're going to win in the end.
Yeah, it's the Rocky. It's
Rocky lost that first match.
But he came back and
he came back
he won again, and then he won
whatever.
again, and then he won again, and then he won again.
Anyway.
He lost a couple times in there.
Yeah.
Rocky's a good comparison too, because that's kind of the same thing. Kind of fantasizes some of those elements. They cut around some of the reality and cut out some of the grit.
But Rocky wasn't based on a true story.
Well, Rocky was based on a true story after. Rocky became a true story. I bet if you ask people, like, did Rocky really exist? They're like, yeah, Rocky exists.
He did single-handedly defeat the Soviet Union
I mean,
back
he
in
has a
1984.
statue.
So, yeah,
He was a real person. Sylvester Stallone, 100%.
fair enough.
Just like Rudy. Just like Sean Astin's Rudy. Rudy's two people now. The real guy and Sean Astin.
And then you got the Rudy from Emperor's New Groove. So, Rudy? The guy he threw out the window? Beware of the groove.
An old guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Rudy.
Oh, that's right. That's funny. Good callback. Good pull. Anything else to say about Rudy?
No, I think we've said
Content-wise, it was really clean. I mean,
a little bit of language.
he
here and
curses
there,
a couple times when he gets mad because of
Yeah.
those letters he keeps getting denied. But other than that, it's a good movie. It's a good straightforward movie.
Yep. My kids have
like I
watched
said, it's only PG, so
Yeah. My kids have watched it. I mean, watched it.
been in the room.
Yeah, been in the room. I don't worry about them being there, you know.
No, yeah, it's a good movie all the way around. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
No.
So
Yeah, this was a fun one to talk about.
yeah, it was a good one. It was something. It's good. No, I enjoyed it. So as always, guys, one thing we'd like to know: what did you think of Rudy? The point of this podcast is to discuss movies and how they affected our lives. We'd love to hear your opinions. You can go over to Facebook or Instagram. Can you do that there? I don't know how that works.
You can,
or Twitter.
Yeah, you can send us messages on Instagram if you need to.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, message us on Instagram.
And just be
if
like,
that's easier.
Rudy, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Rudy. One word, like Madonna.
Yeah.
You know, just let us know because we're interested. We truly are interested. The three of you that listen to this, we want to know your opinions. Or you can leave us a message on our email account at rememberthatonmovie@gmail.com or on all the socials at Popcorn and Coffee.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and let us know how you feel about the podcast. What do you enjoy listening to us? Are we boring? Should we be a little more entertaining?
We're growing. We're pretty much babes.
Yep. We're going from milk to meat with this podcast,
and sometimes we have accidents.
Yes.
And it's hard to clean up.
Yeah.
It's a mess. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you listening. Please share it with somebody. Let somebody else in your life know, hey, I found this. This might be something you're into. Take a listen. Take a listen.
Yep. Even if you don't like it, maybe your friends.
Someone else might like it more than you.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Think about the other people.
Think about everyone else in your life.
Don't think about just yourself.
Nope. It's selfish. But listen to us anyway. So, with that being said, guys, we appreciate everything.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.